After returning to the calendar in 2023, the FIM Supermoto World Championship is back in St. Wendel, Germany. St. Wendel is a town in Saarland, one of the smallest German states. St. Wendel has a vibrant art scene headlined by the work of Mia Münster and is one of the largest towns in Saarland, situated just 36 kilometers from the state capital Saarbrücken. St. Wendel is home to over 25,000 people and has long played host to sporting spectacles including World Championship level cyclocross events and, of course, Supermoto. There's an eager, welcoming local contingent on the spectator banks this weekend. As we jump into the second half of the year, let's get up to speed with the season so far from the perspective of two team bosses, MTR KTM's Franco Molo and L30 Racing's Ivan Lazzarini.
Here we are in St. Wendel, we are in the middle of the championship. Situation it's good, we are leading with Mark. The gap is not so big. We had quite a tricky race. We start with the second place in Spain. And then second place also in Sardinia. We lost the final race with the second place. And then we went to Poland where we were the fastest. But then we had a puncture in second race, and so we miss also that event.
This year we have one Spanish young rider. It's the first time he come here in this track, and he still likes so much, but he need to learn a little bit, and then we need more time. But we did the first two sessions of pre-practice, and we are in top 5, top 4 with 0.3, 0.4 of difference.
I think the classification right now it is not realistic. Maybe we should have a little bit more gap to the second one, but race is like that. And so we open this race where Mark is a home GP for him, and normally riding very good. So we open a victory here in Germany to get some more gap to the second place, and maybe we can also manage in the end of the season.
We are so happy. We still work really hard. The track is really nice. Completely different from the kart traditional supermoto track. We continue to push hard because we need Prix this race and other two GP for finish the championship. At the moment we are leader on rookie class and third overall in S1GP.
The St. Wendel circuit, one of two street circuits the championship will take on before the end of the year. This 1.1 kilometre layout features a fabulously challenging multi-lane dirt section, and there are plenty of surface changes to contend with throughout the lap. What better tour guide than the champ, Mark Reiner-Schmidt.
Yeah, hello and welcome here from St. Wendel, my home GP in Germany. Ready for a great weekend. We are here on the finish line, fastest part of the track. Let's go for a walk. So we are arrived here in the first corner of St. Wendel. A lot of crowd here in the city circuit, as you can see in the nature tribune in the end of the finish line. So it's really beautiful to ride here in my home crowd, and the people cheering for me, super loud on the outside, and fantastic track for me. You arrive here on the fastest part of the track, end of the finish line. You have a 90-degree left corner, which is very tricky because easy to make mistake. If you come too fast, you exit here and you go to the green. So you have to be precise and every lap on point to make no mistakes and make the best possible lap. I like a lot this track because, yeah, it's like a city circuit. We ride here in the main street of St. Wendel. Go here in the infield on the parking place. We have a super nice off-road with two lines separated. So, yeah, one of my favorite tracks during the season, and I will explain you something more soon. Yeah, so here inside the off-road we have quite a tough jump. It's very stiff to slow down the riders. Then we have like a small high-speed part where you accelerate a lot, make the wheel tap over the bump. Then you have to choose the first of the double lines if you go inside or outside, and then you are fixed to the first corner. Inside you have a little bit longer jump, outside the jump is a little bit shorter. Then you have the next split line, which means if you choose the outside, you go first outside, have the long corner. After you go inside, have the shorter corner with a little bump, like a small jump on the exit. If you decide to go first inside, you have the shorter turn there, but then you have to go all the way outside for the second one, and you come with a lot of speed here to the last and biggest jump here in St. Wendel before you exit the off-road. So we are here in the end of the long left Omega, which included the skate park in the middle of the track. Really nice feature. And yeah, we make something new here. After the long left Omega, we have here now a quite thin corner on the right side, so you have to slow down a lot. As you can see here, also the tires on the right side are a little bit muddy, so it's very tricky and technical. You slow down a lot here, hard on the brake, go down the gear, change the bike to the left, take all the speed here for the left over the small, how you say, hip, and take all the speed for the long finish line. And yeah, if you see the Metzler flag there on top, if you hit the finish line first, you are the race winner. So that's what I want to do this weekend 3 times. I'm ready for good racing here in St. Wendel, one of my favorite tracks. See you guys.
Well, I don't know what I can add to that. A great description from Mark Reiner-Schmidt. Let's take a look at the lap on board with the number 1. On the main street then of St. Wendel, into the first left-hand bend. As he said, they're so narrow through the first corner, you can quite easily find yourself on the grass, especially on the first lap of the race. And it's not too long until you find yourself in the air and on the dirt. Multi-line dirt section. We saw last year some of the best racing all season as riders had to pick their line, choose their run through the dirt section, and go side by side sometimes over that last jump, back onto the tarmac. Although in some cases it's cobbled, some cases it's brick. It's a very tricky surface for the riders here in St. Wendel. Into the long left-hand section, then the Omega section. You can see each apex here sort of jumps out at you, a bit of a speed prevention measure there, just making sure the riders are safe. And then we've got a tighter run through the final couple of corners this year. That could be a new overtaking opportunity around the streets of St. Wendel. Race 1 of the weekend, and it's Elia Sammartin on pole position, Bonnell and Cortez alongside Mark Reiner-Schmidt, only 4th alongside Ioannidis and Sitnianski, Buschberger, Shire and Kuyvers on row 3. Row 4 of the grid, Tim Zalai, Jonas Nedved and Eddie Freck. We're underway for the first time in St. Wendel this weekend, and it's a good start from Bonnell, also a good start from Sammartin. They're side by side for the lead. Ioannidis, very sideways from Nico Ioannidis on the 116. He drops the bike, gets it back up, but he'll be disappointed to have lost out on that second row starting position. Mark Reiner-Schmidt has had a good start. He's up to second place ahead of Elias Sammartin, and Thomas Shire is there in 4th position as well. That's a good recovery from 8th on the grid. A poor qualifying performance from the Frenchman. Bonnell on the Team Undici TM, leading Mark Reiner-Schmidt then on the L30 machine. And Sitnianski in 6th place. He's behind Roman Kuyvers, who also gained some places there in the kind of scramble around Nico Ioannidis. Bonnell there getting a wheel on the curb, got to be careful. Also taking a look over the shoulder to confirm that yes, Mark Reiner-Schmidt is there, and Mark Reiner-Schmidt really is there. Block pass to the inside. Move made, no way that Bonnell could fire back there, and I wouldn't be surprised if Elias Sammartin has gotten past as well. Sammartin was right with them, and sure enough, the Gaza racing machine is through into 2nd place. Bonnell, though, trying to find a way back through, takes a different line over the dirt, but cannot get it done. So it's Schmidt versus Sammartin now at the front, the master of the streets of St. Wendel, up against the pole sitter for this race. Milan Sitnianski still in 6th position, following Roman Kuyvers on the 96, the Belgian racer. Another Team Undici rider doing well in the early stages of this race. Of course, the Belgian with a lot of experience at the Mate Superbiker event and therefore likes a street circuit. Sitnianski for TMS Tuning hasn't been with us for the full season, but it's great to see Sitnianski on such rich form currently. Some of his best riding that we've seen in a good couple of years. Last time out in Swampshire, Poland. Was very impressed with his performances there. Riding on board there was Sitnianski. Sammartin still within the firing line of Mark Reiner Schmidt, maybe a second or so back at the moment. Not close enough for a move, of course. Perhaps just close enough to be a little bit frustrated that he can't get any closer to the master of these streets. Looks like we've lost Thomas Chaillere. Indeed, he's dropped down the lap charts. He's behind this battle between Sitnianski and Kuyvers, and Sitnianski getting past Kuyvers there. They're on differing lines through the dirt, and Sitnianski is up a position. That's 4th place for now, with Chaillere working his way back up from a mistake. It happened off camera. Mark Reiner Schmidt, just a joy to watch through this dirt section. Of course, quite a road racer as well, familiar with the road course in Schleißerdreieck, and that was Thomas Chaillere getting past Milan Sitnianski. So Chaillere from out of nowhere there, from the right side of the frame, bounced back past Milan Sitnianski. That's back up to 4th place then for the current 2nd place man in the championship, and he'll be relieved if he can get himself onto the podium. Bit of a long shot with just a few laps left to go. But of course, he needs every point he can get over this man, Mark Reiner Schmidt. Milan Sitnianski watching on as Thomas Chaillere gets delayed there. Back markers having an issue ahead of him, and that's going to hand 4th place back to the Czech rider, Sitnianski. Mark Reiner Schmidt, though, crosses the line. That race has gone exactly to plan.
Yeah, I did my second shot because last year was Mate, but my first time leading a race in World Championship, so happy. I need to be more consistency because I did so many mistakes, but I improved a lot with this race, and I'm happy of my riding. So tomorrow, another day, I'm gonna push again. Thank you.
Great to hear from Steve Bonnell there. Schmidt wins it from Sammartin. Bonnell and Sitnianski. Thomas Chaillere 5th. Roman Kuyvers down to 6th place, ahead of Tim Zalai, Eddie Freck, Nedved and Buschberger. Racing in an urban area is always a unique feel, and of course the locals love to get up close and personal with both racing and the additional festivities laid on trackside. This being Germany, there were no lack of food options at the track either, but let's cut the schnitzel and the crepe and go back to the racing. Fast race time, Sunday morning, we're underway, and Bonnell with the supreme launch there. Sammartin almost losing it as well. He actually ends up on the grass there as well. He's losing positions, and over Fist. We've got riders down. Numerous riders hit the deck there. We've got a challenge on for the lead there. Is that from the 116? I believe that's Ioannidis, who's just been demoted to 3rd place. Mark Reiner Schmidt taking a better line through the dirt. He's in 2nd place now. It's Bonnell that leads the way. I believe in 3rd place there is Ioannidis. Once again, Reiner Schmidt very quickly onto the back of Bonnell. It's Bonnell from Schmidt from Ioannidis. And look at this, not wasting any time. Lap 2 of the race. And already a move is made by the champ. Ioannidis, another German rider, another TM rider as well. Right in the fray this time. Glad to see that he's getting to capitalise on a good starting position this time. Thomas Chaillere in 5th place. As again, again worked his way up, but he'll be keen to try and get some more points on the board to not lose out too much to Schmidt in the championship battle. Sitnianski down in 8th place. He's once again found himself behind Roman Kivers. He's seen a lot of that 96 jersey this weekend. Look at Schmidt. It's almost as if he's on a track day on easy mode at the moment, just driving ahead of the rest of the field. Bonnell, Sammartin, Ioannidis and Shire in a 4-way scrap now. Look at Ioannidis taking the alternative lines. He's taking this very aggressively. Of course, he's not really a factor for championship points, so this is all about the race results. Mark Reiner Schmidt. You can see the dirt there. There's been some rainfall overnight here, and the circuit looks supremely difficult. You can see that they're dragging damp mud back onto the tarmac, and Schmidt having to be very selective with his throttle application as a result. And there come the rest of the pack. As the leader, Schmidt is kind of the groundbreaker for everybody else. He's the one that finds out how much grip is on the corner, lap on lap on lap in these ever-evolving track conditions. The L30 racing machine, of course, run by Ivan Lazzarini, who we heard from. Nicky Reimer getting into it with the Belgian Vandenberg. Husqvarna versus TM, and a great demonstration of the side-by-side action. I was going to say previously, of course, L30 Racing is Ivan Lazzarini's team. Lazzarini, one of the all-time great Italian supermoto riders. He's got an all-time great operating from his awning. The 3-time champion, Mark Reiner Schmidt. Sitnianski still behind Kivers. Story of his weekend so far. Might be Ioannidis just ahead of them, so I think Ioannidis has been demoted slightly there. Mark Reiner Schmidt, just 3 laps from home. And realistically try and take it easy here. But you can never shift away from full focus too long on a supermoto machine. They're demanding vehicles at the best of times. Sitnianski still there in 8th place. Frustrated to have not had a podium as of yet this weekend. We saw what he was capable of in Poland. Don't envy any of the riders in these treacherous conditions. Oh, and down! As an illustration, the 33 goes down at the last corner. That was Max Orban's, but it's a win for Mark Reiner Schmidt. Very treacherous circuit there. It's Schmidt from Bonnell, from Sammartin, Shire, Ioannidis, Kivers, Freck in 7th place, and Milan Sitnianski in 8th. Buschberger and Nedved round out the top 10. A good run there from Eddie Freck in 7th.
I won the first race yesterday. I had quite a good start and won the fast race today. Amazing feeling here on the track. The home public pushed me so much. Super happy and thankful that all my friends, my team, my family is here with me. Can't wait to line up for the super final. And guys, let's see you there after.
Well, there you go. Here are the points as it stands. Mark Reiner Schmidt running away with the Grand Prix of Germany. Bonnell and Sammartin tied on 42 points. Shire only on 34, ahead of Sitnianski in 5th. Super final time, and it's Mark Reiner Schmidt on pole position. Bonnell and Sammartin on row 1 with him. Shire, Ioannidis and Kivers on row 2. Row 3, Eddie Freck, Milan Sitnianski and Andreas Buschberger. Row 4 of the grid, Nedved, Perna and Tim Zalai. For the final time this weekend, we are racing in Sankt Wendel, and it's a great launch from pole position from Mark Reiner Schmidt. A good getaway as well by the looks of it from row 2. I think that was Sammartin getting a good launch. Good start as well there from Andreas Buschberger. He pushes Milan Sitnianski down a place and pursuing Ioannidis there on the 116. Buschberger, of course, on his Husqvarna. Great to see him in amongst the fray once again this weekend. Sitnianski taking a different line. You see the split there between philosophies, especially on the first lap, but I think more so than anything, you just do the opposite of who's ahead of you a lot of the time when you're in battle here on the dirt section at Sankt Wendel. Look at this though, the top two is the championship battle. Marc Reiner-Schmidt, Thomas Scheyer. And while Scheyer is unlikely to win the Grand Prix of Germany from 16 points back, he can at least claim some points back against the number one in this final race. And of course, the momentum from winning the super final would be huge for Thomas Scheyer. But around this place, around Sankt Wendel, Marc Reiner-Schmidt takes a lot of beating. Scheyer staying with him though. The 8-time world champion is never one to be underestimated. We saw one of his best performances in recent memory at the start of the year in Spain, of course. And he's been the primary challenger to Marc Reiner-Schmidt ever since. Lap 5 of the race, quarter distance. And Scheyer really isn't giving up. Holding on to the rear of Marc Reiner-Schmidt, but not able to close in enough to challenge right now. That's Ioannidis just ahead of Sitnianski in the battle for 7th position. So Ioannidis doing a good job. Sitnianski goes to the Joker lane that everyone has to do once in the super final, and I think that's allowed the number 7 of Andreas Buschberger past him. Everybody has to take that slalom section once during the super final. Sitnianski took it at full commitment, I would suggest. Steve Bonnell on the number 3, riding in that 3rd position. It's been another strong weekend for Bonnell. You can see the momentum ramping up behind that youngster. I think Team Undici are well aware they've got quite the impressive rider on their hands. Elias Sammartin for Honda Red Moto Gazza Racing there in 4th place. He might be a little bit disappointed to be off the podium positions right now in the super final. Of course, he was on pole for race 1 and 2. He got the Super Pole award from Metzler at the start of the weekend. Marc Reiner-Schmidt yet to take his Joker section. He does it this time by, I believe Scheyer behind him has already done it. Relatively conservative run through there compared to what we saw from Sitnianski, and he comes out ahead of Scheyer. Scheyer just a couple of seconds away. On the final lap of the race, Marc Reiner-Schmidt measured through the final turns. Scheyer following in 2nd place, but it's going to be a win for Marc Reiner-Schmidt. It's a clean sweep of the Grand Prix of Germany. All 3 races belong to the local sensation, Marc Reiner-Schmidt. It's a victory in the super final. 30 points to the German. Scheyer with his strongest result of the weekend in 2nd, ahead of countryman Steve Bonnell. Sammartin and Eddie Freck round out the top 5. A great run from the 741 rider. Here's the Grand Prix results then. It's Marc Reiner-Schmidt who wins it from Steve Bonnell. Sammartin manages to take 3rd, in part thanks to his Super Pole point. Scheyer 4th, Kivers and Sitnianski round out the top half dozen. Elias Sammartin getting his chance to stand on the podium once again then. Good weekend from the Metzler Super Pole winner, Steve Bonnell, with one of his strongest weekends of the season so far. But Marc Reiner-Schmidt really is kicking it up into another gear in these most recent rounds in Poland and indeed in Germany. We knew he was going to be hard to beat here in Sankt Wendel, but he really made it look at times easy. And that doesn't happen often in the Supermoto World Championship. Class of the field each and every weekend, but the class of the field on the Sankt Wendel streets. The trophies being presented by the delegates and the representatives, and the red plate is back with the number 1.
Nearly perfect weekend, just Mr. Superpole. I have to work on it, but yeah, the races were incredible. I had the best pace all the weekend. Make no mistakes during the race. I could make a gap, so I was the fastest here out on track. Feels amazing, really good setup. We work a lot on it, and yeah, can't wait to line up in Romania. But first of all, big thanks to Germany, big thanks to St. Wendel. They prepared the tech so well after the big rain this night, so I'm speechless. Just amazing to be here. Thanks to all my sponsors, and see you in 2 weeks in Romania. Ciao.
Well, let's look at the championship standings. 364 points for Mark Reiner-Schmidt. Shire still in a strong second place on 328. He will want a strong event next time out in Romania. Elias Sammartin third. Cortez and Bonnell rounding out the top 5 as we get ready to return to Romania on the 7th and 8th of September, the penultimate round of the season.